With spring right around the corner, the 2009 Chicago Flower and Garden Show has been helping Windy City residents think green this week. Featuring over 25 gardens created by the area's most acclaimed landscape designers, this year's show aims to inspire attendees to think outside the box in their own backyards. In order to achieve this goal and celebrate the show's highly anticipated move back to Navy Pier, organizers partnered designers with Chicago's most prominent cultural institutions.
The pairing of the museums and the builders really came out of the process of talking about what the theme of the show was going to be and how it impacted us with the return of Chicago. And we talked about the great things of Chicago and its great culture. And we said, let's create a cultural midway for the city of Chicago and really highlight the best of what Chicago has to offer.
One standout collaboration is the garden created by Kane Brothers Water Features, featuring the National Museum of Mexican Art. The garden, entitled Agua Viene La Vida, which translated means "from water comes life," combines elements from ancient Mesoamerican culture along with the Mexican architects and artists of today.
We feel that the garden represented the museum in such a way that we brought so many cultures and inspiration from Mexico itself and used artists that were both featured in the past and present in the actual garden space itself.
The garden's based on a symbol that represented all things to the Mayan people in Mesoamerica times.
It developed out of a symbol that I found called the galactic butterfly, which was sort of the Mesoamerican yin-yang, represented good and bad, rain and sun, and the duality of life.
Building off the geometry of the galactic butterfly symbol, the garden is divided in half, with each side consecutively representing sun or rain, past or present, and life or death.
Using that symbol, it kind of defined the pathways that people would walk through in the garden space, and from there we developed those spaces, again, reading into the Mexican culture. Their beliefs are focused a lot on duality, and from life comes death. So we have this garden initially split into two halves, one featuring their rain god and one featuring their sun god.
And that it was split again into 4 quadrants. So within those 4 quadrants, it was divided into new and old. So you had newer designs that represented more formal inspirations, more of the current Mexican culture and architecture, and some of the older regions that represented some of the Mesoamerican inspirations.
One of the things that the Kane Brothers did here is that they had a surprise at every turn, and it changed the style of architecture. So it went from very contemporary and linear architecture to the ruins of the aqueduct, and so as you turned the corner, there was always something new.
Planning for such a massive undertaking took months, but the Kane Brothers team had only 8 days to construct the entire garden.
It feels great when you see something from paper that you worked on for so long actually be built in a 3-dimensional garden space, especially when you pull it off in a place like Navy Pier where it's a concrete floor that everything's being built up from.
But it took 8 days from start to finish, and we had anywhere from 6 to, I think, 12 people.
They were long days, little sleep, and just a lot of movement.
Seeing them here anywhere from 14 to 18 hours a day, I think minimally, was inspiring for us.
In the end, all of their hard work paid off. The garden has been well received by nearly everyone who has experienced it.
We felt that we had great feedback from people coming through the garden. There was a lot to see, there was a lot of layers and depth to the actual garden space itself, so people that really took the time, it really registered with them.
It's just a very inspirational garden that I absolutely loved. It was like taking a mini vacation.
I'm very, very surprised and amazed and awed at the way it turned out. I saw the drawings and the presentation, and I questioned myself a little bit how the whole concept was going to evolve, and just looking at it, it's amazing.
I think they, more so than the others, which is difficult to say as a show director, but I think they really captured the spirit of the collaboration.
Next year's Flower and Garden Show will also be held at Navy Pier and will team garden designers with famous Chicagoland theaters. Kane Brothers plans to participate and looks forward to a new creative challenge.
There's talk of a theatrical theme that seems interesting to us, so we'll see how the next couple months go with development of those ideas.
The Chicago Flower and Garden Show runs through March 15th. More information can be found online at www.chicagoflower.com. Reporting from Chicago's Navy Pier, I'm Mercedes Kane.